Okay, so I've been meaning to make this video for a little while now, but um, well, the truth is I haven't really been that active on YouTube as of late, but I'm here now, and this is going to be talking about some of the disgusting comments I've heard from Andre Ward talking about he's thinking about going back into retirement. I find that ridiculous, and I've been seeing a lot of these interviews from Ward lately. Um, Mainly, it was like right after the fight with Sergey Kovalev. I mean, he'd be giving some interviews to TMZ. There'd be some quotes on some credible news articles, and I should have made this video sooner because then I'd still have those quotes. I just kind of link it in the description, but I'm just going based off of memory right now. So forgive me if I misquote anything. But the gist of what I'm hearing is that Andre Ward is pretty much trying to say that he thinks he beat Sergey Kovalev, understandably, and that he'd be willing to fight Sergey Kovalev again if it made sense. You can easily assume that he's talking about negotiations, money, and stuff like that. And he also says that he's also been saying he's considering retiring instead of accepting that rematch, because people don't realize that there was a rematch clause for the fight between Andre Ward and Sergey Kovalev. If Andre Ward were to win, he's supposed to rematch Sergey Kovalev. So here's my take on all of this. Okay, first of all, I've rewatched the fight between Andre Ward and Sergey Kovalev several times, and I gotta tell you, this is just me being honest and objective. You really could give the fight to either fighter. I think this is one of those true draws. Like every single time I watch the fight, I see something different that I didn't see before. People talk about how people talk about those little body shots that Andre Ward will be slipping, in the later rounds. But at the same time, people, those types of people aren't talking about the headshots that Andre Ward's, those jabs that Andre Ward that just keep on snapping Andre Ward's head back. Those types of people don't talk about that. The truth is, even though Andre Ward was a defensive fighter, I saw him get hit in this fight more than I'm accustomed to seeing Andre Ward getting hit. Okay, he was getting hit, he was getting rocked, and he was getting hurt. Mainly in the earlier rounds, but as the fight went down, Andre Ward started doing this thing, but I still saw him, getting his head snapped back by jabs and whatnot. All I'm saying is the fight is a lot closer than a lot of people want you to believe. I think that Andre Ward did his thing out there. I think Andre Ward deserved the victory, but at the same time, you can't blame Sergey Kovalev or even his fans for feeling that Sergey Kovalev deserved the victory. Now, one thing is for certain, like me, I don't like a lot of. Let me put it like this. All right, I understand that Sergey Kovalev is one of those fighters that people feel is getting overhyped because of the whole thing with HBO and how they treat their white fighters compared to other fighters of different races. And my thing on that is, of all of the white fighters that deserve praise, Sergey Kovalev deserves everything that he's gotten and more, for what he's done for the sport of boxing. If you really be objective and pay attention to what he's done in the past few years for the sport of boxing, I mean, this guy, it's not like the Gennady Golovkin situation where he managed to to gain 3 belts, just facing no names. No, Sergey Kovalev, he beat the likes of Bernard Hopkins. He's been through Nathan Cleverly. He's fought Jean Pascal twice. He has credible names on his resume, and he took a fight against Andre Ward. Now, people like to talk about how Andre Ward, he risked a lot moving up in weight to go fight Sergey Kovalev. I agree. He did risk a lot. He did risk his record and whatnot. But people don't really like to talk about what Sergey Kovalev had to risk, which was those 3 belts that he's worked hard to gain and to keep in the past few years. So I wanted to take that time and just pay my respects to Sergey Kovalev. I've always said nothing but good things about Sergey Kovalev on my channel, but I really am starting to feel like Sergey Kovalev is one of those fighters that aren't getting the enough appreciation that he deserves, and because of like if we take race out, out of the equation, out of the equation, and we just look at this, these two fighters and what transpired between the two when they fought, objectively, I think Sergey Kovalev deserves a rematch. Andre Ward is my favorite active fighter today, but I think it's some pussy shit if he just says, "Hey, you know what? I'm gonna retire because I don't want to fight this man again." It's like, let me get this straight. You before the fight, you were talking about how you want to do all these great things, all these superb things after you went through Sergey Kovalev, but now all of a sudden after having a close fight with them, you're talking about retiring. What Andre Ward fan? If you're an Andre Ward fan, how can you objectively say that you're okay with them saying that, is spouting that kind of nonsense? No, man, I don't want to hear that shit. I don't care if this is about negotiations. Okay, here's the thing. I saw Virgil Hunter in some press conference crying about how Sergey Kovalev, the champion, is making less money than Andre Ward. I don't understand why Andre Ward, what more would he want from the negotiations? You see what I'm saying? Like when he says shit like, "Oh, it has to make sense. It has to make," like, what are you trying to negotiate for? And again, people need to remember there was a rematch clause in the contract, so it's not as if this is one of those situations where he can just walk away into the wind. No, so it's Andre Ward is starting to sound like a real diva right now, and I hate to say that because Andre Ward is one of my favorite active fighters, but it's the truth. You can't objectively look at this situation and say, "Oh, Andre Ward, yeah, I understand." Like, I understand why he's doing it, but at the same time, it's some pussy shit. The things that he's saying, and if he actually decides to retire after all that good shit he was selling to the press about how he wants to do all these great things now that he's back into the sport, I mean, you can't. Let me articulate this correctly. You can't say, everything that Andre Ward does from here on in is all, self-inflicted. So if he decides that he wants to retire and take some time off, and then he comes back in the sport, and no one can be mad about the fact that he's not on the top 10 pound-for-pound rankings anymore. No one can be mad about, not ranking him as an all-time great, because this is some pussy shit. You know what I'm saying? You squeaked away with a victory that you're lucky to have. This should have been a draw. All right, I'm not saying that Sergey Kovalev should have won. I'm not saying Andre Ward should have won. But this is one of those fights. I don't know. Right now, I do not know who the pound for pound best fighter is. These two, that spot is vacant, and it's for these two fighters. Okay, even though the official score, the official score says that Andre Ward won, my eyes tell me that there was no better man that night. I saw great things from both fighters, and I'm gonna need to see that again. Now, me personally, if a rematch were to happen again, I personally believe that Andre Ward would get the better of him because, I feel like that the fighter that I saw that night wasn't the best fighter that I've seen. And in Andre Ward, if we were to see Super 6 Andre Ward, well, he hasn't been that Andre Ward in a while, and a lot of people have been saying that, to be honest, but I definitely think that Andre Ward has the ability to make the improvements that he needs to and bring that into the next fight. In fact, he was making those improvements in that first fight. Okay, so I think that Andre Ward has a better ability to make adjustments, but it's not to say that Sergey Kovalev doesn't have that ability. I mean, when he fought Jean Pascal for the second time, he beat him worse. He made him look like a fucking old man. So, but my point is, I need to see a rematch though, because I don't know who's better between these two. And if Andre Ward is going to punk out of that rematch, even after agreeing to fight him under a rematch clause, you can't. There's no other way to put it. That is ducking. Andre Ward is ducking Sergey Kovalev. Okay, Andre Ward, like, if he does not fight Andre Ward if Andre Ward does not fight Sergey Kovalev and defend those 3 belts against him, I'm gonna lose a lot of respect for this man. He's my favorite active fighter. Okay, today. So I hope this is just part of the negotiation process and whatnot, and I hope that in the end they still end up getting in the ring and fighting each other. But again, some pussy shit, man. This is not what I like to hear from someone that's taking the time away from the sport for 3 years. Like, this is not good. You gotta get those wheels. Like, come on, Andre Ward. Shit, man.